Hey guys, what's going on? It's the Folklore Scrolls. We definitely have been gone for a while. Hey, it's back with me again, John.
And me, Goose.
Hey, it's yeah. We just last week we were talking about we're gonna be doing a new episode, right? Yeah. Everybody else has been in a coma for 2 months, right? Nobody's noticed that we've been gone. Yeah, it's been a little while.
6 months later.
I'm not even gonna make an excuse. I was lazy. It was the holidays. I was like, we'll do it next week. And then weeks rolled into months, and here we are.
I am gonna make an excuse. It was a virus lockdown. That's my excuse.
Well, yeah. Also that the dread of having to stay indoors. But hey, I know all of you guys were just and girls were dying to hear what we had to say about current events. But guess what? We're gonna talk about an SCP. Yeah, that's how we like to
I
start.
feel like your voice is getting way louder than it usually does.
Hey man, you don't even know how
I can see it there on the waveline screen.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
sound
behind
waves.
the scenes here, yeah, you can definitely see it. I don't know why it's actually so loud.
That's you increasing your volume.
Hey,
You've got a powerful throat.
We're
my friend.
talking about waves here, man. We're riding it like a surfboard,
True.
going down the waves of life. I don't know where I was going with that. It
think-
might have been inspirational.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Okay, this is where you're going with it. You're saying waves of life, and then you're gonna cut to when one door closes, another door opens.
Yeah,
and then you're gonna cut to.
And speaking of doors, we got ourselves a door SCP right here.
That's right,
Kind of.
SCP-004, otherwise known as the
Oh.
12 rusty keys in the door.
That's right. We're going back to the OGs. We're going back to our roots. Going back to the Series 1 SCP. You know what? We wanted to get back to the facility. We can't. It's kind of locked down even more so than before. Might have been because of us. Might have been because of a certain, beer. But we're back here. We're looking at SCP-004 object class Euclid. Give us those special containment procedures there, Goose.
Okay, but first, Euclid was dangerous. Was it very
So,
dangerous?
you got safe. That's not, it's not going to do much harm. You got
Euclid and Keter.
that can endanger, a
Okay.
town to a city. And then,
Alright.
Keter can, is, world-ending to universe.
Okay, just making sure, just double checking here, because
Yeah.
it's blanking on my frontal lobe.
Yeah, it's been, at least a week since we did this.
All right. Well, here's the procedures. That's
Okay.
containment procedures for short.
Mhm.
Procedures. When handling items SCP-004-2 through to SCP-004-13, proper procedure is vital. The items are not permitted to be moved off-site unless accompanied by 2 Level 4 security personnel. Under no circumstances should any other component of SCP-004 be taken through SCP-004-1. The effects of doing so are as yet unknown, and the current cost of experimentation makes further research impractical. Should any of the objects contained within -1 be containment, or the facility be breached, the keys must be brought inside and the door closed prior to activation of Site-62's on-site warhead. Unauthorized removal of the keys from testing area is grounds for immediate termination. Level 1 clearance is required for basic access to SCP-1. Level 4 clearance is required for SCP-2 to 13.
Wow, that's at least more than 2.
Now, level 5 is the highest, right?
I believe so, yeah. At least that we've read anyways.
I believe so.
Description. SCP-004 consists of an old wooden barn door, SCP-004-1, and a set of 12 rusted steel keys, SCP-004-2 through 13. The door itself is the entrance to an abandoned factory and data expunge.
I see.
Chronological history. On, let's see, what is this? July 2nd, 1949, a group of 3 juveniles trespassing on federal property near blank find the door. According to their testimony, they found a set of rusted keys in an iron lockbox and determined what door the keys unlocked. The juveniles are taken into custody after they contact Sheriff Blank. When one of their friends, SCP-004 CAS-01, goes missing.
Let's see, the next day, local authorities find the severed right hand of SCP-CAS-01. I'm guessing that means case, like case
Yes,
file 01,
yeah.
or casualty. Either way.
Either way works.
8 kilometers from SCP-1, the door. Other parts of SCP-04, of his body, are found scattered as far as 32 kilometers from the factory.
That's not that far.
Under interrogation, the apprehended juveniles tell authorities that upon opening the door with one of the keys, the boy was torn in several pieces, each of which disappeared. At this point, the SCP Foundation takes over the investigation.
On July 4th, 1949, the day after discovering the parts from the last day, SCP Agent Blank obtains the keys from the local authorities to begin testing. Tests show that -2 through -13 all fit into a single lock on the large barred door. 12 Class D personnel are assigned to test the effects of the door. Of the 12 test subjects, each trying a different key to enter the room, only 2 survive, opening the door with any key except for 4 through 7 or 4 through 12 cause the test subjects to be torn apart in multiple directions. However, no dismembered parts were found until later. At the time of writing, only 2 parts of each subject have been recovered, with the exception of the subject using 04-blank, whose pieces were scattered in close proximity. The others have, for all intents and purposes, vanished from existence. Of the 2 surviving subjects, only one, having used -7, returned unharmed. The other came back in a near catatonic state, able only to remove himself from the room and then collapse on the floor, and had to be restrained to prevent him from gouging out his eyes. See Appendix A, Mental Health Effects of SCP-004. The subject using 004-7 said that he had entered a large room, and possibly big for the size of the attached building. After his exit, 04-1 was propped open, and an armed squad of Level 3 personnel entered. The size of the room is impossible to measure, and the door frame and the individuals in the room are only part of the room that can be felt or illuminated.
Just a giant black space. Let's see, July 16th, like a week, 2 weeks, something like that, 1949. The juvenile suspects and Sheriff Blank are terminated. Oh, good, excellent.
So August 2nd, 1949, Blank is declared a hazardous area due to unexploded ordnance and fences erected in order to prevent civilian ingress. Tests to determine safety and exposure to environment behind 04-1 begin.
December 1st, 1950.
So like over a year later.
Yes. Space-time anomalies resulting from exposure to SCP-004 are confirmed. Testing suspended until further notice.
July 2nd, 19-blank. The unaccounted for remains of from CAS-01, so the very first person to ever experience that, appear unexpectedly outside of the door. Despite being killed decades before, the remains are not decomposed in any manner and are still warm to the touch. Blood remains uncoagulated. The remains are remanded for testing.
Let's see, July 4th, 19-blank. So it's the same date, but exactly like a couple years later. Who knows how many years?
Yeah, it's blanked out, so we don't know.
The unaccounted for remains of one of the 12 original test subjects appear in similar manner to those of SCP-004.
So when they
SCS-01.
They sent in the D class,
Yes.
so they appeared.
The remains have been designated SCP-004 CAS-02, CAS-02. Recordings suggest that both CAS-01 and CAS-02 used SCP-004-blank.
So we don't know which number key. So let's see. March 21st, 1999, with a massive proliferation of nuclear weapons and World War III only blank years away, construction has begun on a site inside of -1. The site is to stock supplies for blank person days. So basically they used the one door that was like infinite space to put stuff in, just in case World War III happened. Smart.
Oh. 4th April 21st, 1999. Blank has ordered the site inside SCP-004-1 to be expanded to include emergency storage for all mobile SCP blank specimens and a blank petabyte database for the storage of all SCP data. The facility is now referred to as Site 62.
So they put another SCP site inside of a SCP. Interesting. Let's see here. 9. So September 25th of the year 2000. Site 62 is operational. Labs and containment units are complete and can contain the most dangerous specimens. Backup of SCP database has begun.
January 25th, 2001. Due to time anomalies, see space-time anomalies below, all personnel working at Site 62 are now required to reside on-site permanently. Families of personnel are to be informed that loved ones perished in an industrial accident. Cloned bodies have been prepared for the funeral.
August 14th, 2003. Massive power outage across the northeast United States and through Canada due to initial failure of multiple SCP generators. Site 62 was without power for 53 minutes. During those 53 minutes, those on site were completely without any source of light. They reported sensing creatures and people, although no abnormal entities could be seen or felt. Selected facility personnel were allowed to read blank Appendix A, so they were talking about the mental health stuff, and said the creatures sensed were of humanoid size, but otherwise similar to the massive green creature described.
Time-space anomalies. SCP-004 seems to propagate spatiotemporal anomalies. I think I said that right?
Yeah.
Personnel leaving the facility report losing time. Those who have been in the site for weeks insist they have only been in the facility for several days, and records of work completed and supplies consumed support their claims. Other temporal anomalies involve SCP-004-2 through to 16, especially the reappearance of Cassio-1 and Cassio-2. Exactly blank years after the use of 004-blank, blank has been assigned to investigate all aspects of these time anomalies. Spatial anomalies include the impossibly large dimensions of the area opened by SCP-7. 04-7. Similarly, the 2003 blackout incident suggests that there exists an alternate plane of existence within the same space that Site 62 occupies.
Nice. Additional notes. Testing on 04 reveals that 10 of the keys open -1 on a dimension where the laws of physics and topology are significantly different than those of our home dimension. Test subjects meeting these hostile conditions are torn apart, their body parts deposited in various locations, only 3 of which have been verified to be on Earth. Material deposited on 2 of these points appears immediately. Material deposited on the 3rd appears exactly blank years into the future. The other 7 locations are currently unknown. Current testing focuses on 2 avenues of research. The first is finding ways to survive in 04's hostile topologies. The second, data expunge, suggests that 04-2 through 13 may open doors other than -1. And here's the part where it talks about mental health.
Appendix A. Mental health effects of SCP-004-12. All Class D personnel using 004-12 return in a catatonic state, unable to speak. Some may have enough energy left to try and claw out their eyes. Of the 16 subjects, only 4 have survived. Only 1 has regained speech. Following long-term psychotherapy, he was able to tell the psychiatrist that he saw a massive green creature, so large that much of its body extended beyond his field of view. He reported innate fear and sudden recognition, as if it were something buried deep in his primordial fears, and forced implantation of incomprehensible memories. Subject displays acute anterograde
And retrograde amnesia.
retrograde. No, it's not here. It's anterograde and retrograde amnesia.
Yeah. So basically, he
Weird.
saw something that was so astronomically big that his primal fears activated and awakened memories he didn't have before. So probably something the size of like Godzilla or like a Cthulhu-like creature.
I assume Cthulhu-esque.
Probably drove him mad.
Please read Appendix B.
Appendix B. Additional information. Item number SCP-004-14. Date of discovery on September 2nd, 1950. Origin of object. Object was discovered elsewhere in factory area, in the previously undiscovered manager's office. Description. Object appears as a large, unvarnished wooden box. The box may be unlocked by the safe key -7, as well as 5 of the unsafe keys. See document SCP-004-1. Upon unlocking 004-14 with the -7 key, the box opens automatically on hinges. The volume of space inside is precisely 5 times greater than the outer dimensions imply. Items placed within the lid remains open. Do not affect the weight or any of the properties of the box. When the lid is closed and locked, however, all items inside vanish irretrievably. Personnel locked inside the box are also irretrievable. Although losing personnel in this fashion appears to affect significantly the dreams experienced by data expunged.
Who could it be?
Wow! That's correct.
I guess one of the scientists, I bet.